Nigel Farage is back with me now for more WTF. What the Farage, that is. Nigel, let's talk about Priti Patel and the Borders Bill. I know you've been harsh on her, but if you looked at what she said today, does it give you any more confidence? Because she's quoting a lot of the stuff that you've been saying for many months, especially in terms of the demographic makeup of the migrants that are entering illegally via the channel.
Yes, you're right. Oh, she's playing lip service to everything I've been saying for over the last year. I mean, a year ago, Dan, when the numbers were really increasing, mainstream media wasn't covering this. I went out into the channel, made some YouTube films, and then they started to talk about it. But my what the Farage moment of this week is the idea that Priti Patel is going to put all these people in prison for up to 4 years. Oh, really? Don't make me laugh. 2,000 came last month. And as the next few months go by, it'll be even more. The prisons are full already. The European Convention on Human Rights is still written into British law, which would make that frankly impossible. This is, once again, a Home Secretary posing, saying tough things, getting the public at home saying, oh, isn't she wonderful? And putting forward legislation, almost hoping Parliament votes it down, so she can say it wasn't her fault. She has presided over something that she's condemned since August 2019 that is now, in terms of numbers, going off the charts. I predicted a few weeks ago that 20,000 people would come this year. Now that I've seen myself some of the new boats, and these aren't 16-man boats or 20-man boats, as you're showing now, the new ones take up to 70. This could be well in excess of 20,000 people this year. And yes, they are nearly all young men between the age of 18 and 30 who come from war-torn parts of the world. They've left behind the women, left behind the children. They are not refugees in any classic sense of the term, and they've come here from a safe country called France. Now, what I will concede is this. For the first time today, she seriously said that we might tow boats back to France.
Yes.
If she's serious, now, okay, I'm being fair. I know in the past I've called her pretty useless, but I'm being fair because that is the only thing that will stop this happening. And Australia in 2012 faced a very similar crisis. Tony Abbott, a brave prime minister, turned those boats round, towed them back to Indonesia, and do you know what happened? The boats stopped coming, and that is the only remedy for this situation. We now have in this country 60,000 people who've entered illegally, who we are putting up at taxpayers' expense in 4-star hotels, in private accommodation, and the whole thing is a scandal. And Westminster don't think it really matters. Let me tell you, out there in Middle England, it matters hugely.
Well, what's so interesting, Nigel, the clear reason why they are taking action on this is they can see the potential for it to explode into a massive story and a scandal. It was interesting to me reading what some government sources are saying. They predict that this could end up becoming the biggest non-COVID story of the summer. So clearly the government are trying to mitigate the risk of that. But I guess, as you say, the proof is going to be in the pudding.
Yeah, and time again, I mean, frankly, I'm bored with the number of times Priti Patel says, we're sending in the RAF, we're sending in the Royal Navy, we're putting up drones, we're going to give life imprisonment to the traffickers, and now even those that come across face 4 years in prisons that we haven't even got because they're full already. She keeps on doing this. And the remarkable thing is the stupidity of the Conservative Party, who believe her every time. Tory party conference, oh, isn't she wonderful? Well, no. She talks tough, delivers nothing, and frankly, what she said today was designed to cause outrage amongst the human rights lobby, which it's done. She puts forward legislation. As I say, she hopes Parliament votes it down and then says it's not my fault. This government does not have the will to deal with this problem. Boris Johnson is wholly unconcerned with legal or illegal immigration. And I will predict right now, this problem by September will be the biggest political story in our country.
Nigel, Labour says this policy could break international law. Does it?
Everything breaks international law when you continue. You see, Brexit, we thought we'd be free of all the European institutions. But what Boris didn't free us from was the European Court of Human Rights and the European Convention on Human Rights written into British law through the Human Rights Act. You know, she talks about stopping the boats, sending people back, deporting people. We can't even get rid of terrorists, which takes years because of the Human Rights Act. All the while, we stay linked to European law. There is actually very little we can do. So those that say these proposals breach international law are right, because our exit from Europe has not been as complete as it needs to be.
Nigel, just a final word, if you will, before England take on Denmark in the Euros semi-final tomorrow night. Are you feeling confident, Nigel, is it coming home?
Do you know what? I've spent my life being pessimistic about English teams, whether it's in cricket or whether it's in football or rugby or whatever it may be, because I've always viewed it as being a great insurance policy against the inevitable disappointment that follows. I have to say, these guys look like they're playing as a team. They look like they mean it. They've been superb in the last two games. And I'm going to put my neck on the line, because I like doing that. You know what? It is coming home. We're going to win tomorrow against Denmark and win the final next Sunday. Of that, I have no doubts. One sort of slight interest. I have spent a few quid on buying a ticket already, so maybe it's in my interest to say so. But Dan, no, I really believe it. Brexit Britain, winning the European Championships, a wave of optimism, a great vaccine rollout. We may have our problems in our country, but I've never felt better about our future than I do right now.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.